Colorful is a Japanese animated feature film from 2010. The movie follows a soul that wakes up in the body of a 14-year-old boy, Makoto Kobayashi, who had committed suicide by overdosing on pills. The soul now must find a way to fit into Makoto's existence and find out why Makoto committed suicide and the truth behind the great sin in itself committed in its previous life. The movie starts with a neutral spirit named Purapura, who is in the form of a little boy. He is informing a dejected soul that he is getting another chance at life. However, the soul does not want to get a second chance. Purapura tries to convince him that he is lucky that he is getting a chance, as not everybody gets it that easily. Purapura has been charged by the boss, who is the father of all creation, with being the soul's guide. He guides the soul to a door that leads to the world, where he will take control of the body of a 14-year-old boy named Makoto Kobayashi. Finally, the soul is sent into the world and is informed that 3 days ago, Makoto had committed suicide. Makoto's soul is about to depart from his body, after which this soul can slip into him. If the soul completes its homestay successfully, it will enter the cycle of reincarnation. The scene cuts to a hospital room where Makoto's parents are mourning his death. All of a sudden, Makoto miraculously wakes up and the doctor is astonished to see it. Little do they know that it is the soul that has slipped into Makoto's body. Upon opening his eyes, he asks Makoto's mother to bring him a mirror and is surprised to see his face. He starts throwing up and feels as if someone is stabbing him in the chest. Makoto's parents and older brother, Mitsuru, are worried to see their beloved in this condition. Makoto is kept in the hospital for a week, and after conducting multiple tests on him, the doctor concludes that his body is absolutely fine. Finally, he's discharged from the hospital and returns home. As he walks into the house, he is clueless about everything as this soul hasn't been there before. His mother believes that Makoto's deceased granny must have sent him back to the world, and so she asks him to offer a prayer for her. She also cooks Makoto's favorite food and feeds him generously. While everyone in the house is happy with Makoto's return, his brother, Mitsuru, doesn't seem too thrilled. His father reminisces about their old time, and Makoto can't help but think why Makoto killed himself despite having such a loving family. After having food, he thanks his mother wholeheartedly, and she's surprised by this grateful behavior as Makoto never thanked her before. When he leaves for his room, he is confused about where to go, so Purapura appears and guides him to Makoto's room. Upon meeting Purapura, Makoto is furious with him for leaving him alone and not telling him everything about Makoto and his family. After a while, he explores Makoto's room and finds out that Makoto was good at art after seeing his paintings. Purapura tells him that the body in which his soul goes is decided by the weight of the sins he committed in his past life. But the soul does not remember the sin he committed in the past life, so Purapura gives him a task to remember it as soon as possible. He also has a number of other duties he must complete, such as understanding what led Makoto to commit suicide in the first place. So, Purapura gives him a guidebook chronicling the life of Makoto. However, only Purapura can read the book as it's unreadable to the residents of the world. Purapura explains that Makoto's father is a salaryman and an underdog at work. Despite devoting all his time to work, he is never considered for promotion. His mother, on the other hand, has been having an extramarital affair, but it seems that she broke it up after Makoto's suicide attempt. His brother, Mitsuru, is the class topper and a butt self-obsessed who mocks Makoto for not being as smart as him. His grandmother got along well with Makoto, but passed away last year. The scene cuts to the next morning. While having breakfast with the family, the soul can't stop thinking about what Purapura told him about Makoto's family. He starts feeling Makoto's emotions and leaves the breakfast table without eating anything. Later, he checks Makoto's phone and discovers a video of a girl he adores named Hiroka. He then goes into a flashback of the previous day when Purapura told him that the day before Makoto committed suicide, he found out that Hiroka slept with older men to make a living for herself. Makoto was heartbroken to find out, and it was also when he witnessed his mother coming out of a love hotel with her lover. Back in the present, the soul of Makoto's body starts ignoring his family and remains secluded from them in his room. One day, while he is out in the library, he sees Purapura interacting with a dog. He meets Purapura and flips out when Purapura tells him that he has been watching over him. Makoto then asks Purapura about Makoto's friends and is surprised to know that Makoto has no friends. From the next day, the soul starts going back to school as he was getting bored all day at home. So Pura guides him to the school. As he enters Makoto's class, he's confused to see everyone staring at him strangely. When the teacher asks him how he's doing, the new Makoto answers him passionately, unlike the dispirited Makoto, leaving the entire class shocked. Later, Pura guides him into Makoto's art class where he keeps staring at Makoto's unfinished painting. Hiroka comes in to meet him and expresses her concern for him. Just then, Shouku Sano, a weird girl from Makoto's class, comes in and keeps intervening in Makoto's matters. She asks Makoto if he had a counseling session since his behavior has totally changed. Makoto answers against it, but Shouku is still suspicious of his unusual behavior. Later at home, Makoto's father and brother appreciate him for his altered behavior at school and tell him that his teacher is quite impressed to see his optimism. But the soul feels pissed off at them and leaves. At night, he keeps staring at Hiroka's picture on Makoto's phone. The next day at school, Makoto's teacher informs him that he is flunking his grades, which is why only the low-ranked high schools will accept him. Makoto pays no heed to it and leaves the staff room. Later, in the art class, Shouku yet again bothers him and the soul is even more pissed at her. However, seeing Makoto staring at Hiroko, Shouku becomes jealous and leaves. Then onward, the soul of Makoto starts going to art class daily to escape boredom. But Shouku keeps getting on his nerves. One day, while having dinner, Makoto's mother mistakenly calls Makoto by her lover's name. Scared, she quickly changes the topic and starts asking Makoto about his choice of high school. The soul in Makoto isn't able to stand her cunning behavior and torments her by shouting at her. Pura berates him for his rude behavior towards Makoto's mother and keeps reminding him to think of the sin he committed in his previous life. He gives him a 6-month ultimatum, after which his time in Makoto's body will run out. The next day, he goes to school with a new hairstyle and a new pair of shoes which impresses Hiroka. However, Shouku immediately expresses her dislike for his hairstyle. Later, while strolling on the street, he spots Hiroka boarding a train and follows her only to find her entering a love hotel with a middle-aged man. He is unable to witness this, so he makes a bold move. He grabs her hand and starts running away with her. After bringing her to a secluded place, he asks her why she was with an old man. So Hiroka reveals that she wants to maintain a fancy lifestyle, and since her pocket money is not enough, she spends nights with older men to make money, with which she is pretty satisfied. The soul in Makoto returns home dejected and boils with anger seeing his mother's caring attitude towards him. In his fury, he reveals that he is aware of her affair, leaving his mother devastated. He spends the night outside and ends up getting robbed and beaten up by some thieves. The next day, he wakes up and his mother informs him that Mitsuru found him in a shrine and took him to a hospital. The soul then starts criticizing Makoto's mother, so she begs him to forgive her but to no avail. 3 days later, Shouku comes to visit Makoto at his house and asks him if he likes Hiroka. He feels annoyed, so he scares her off by showing her his wild side. Shouku leaves the house in a hurry without uttering a word against Makoto to his mother. The soul then meets Pura and finds out that Makoto will really die this time after 6 months. Pura asks him to be nice to his mother. He tries to explain to him that humans tend to make mistakes and that they should be forgiven, but the soul does not pay attention to him. While walking home, he runs into a boy from his class named Saotome, who is into studying trains. Saotome is astonished to see how badly Makoto has been mugged by seeing his facial injuries. The soul befriends him, as Saotome is just a boy who treats everyone equally. The two of them spend time roaming around the streets and visiting places where ancient train stations used to be. Saotome tells Makoto that he will probably get accepted into the lowest ranked high school due to his bad grades, and Makoto tells him that he is in the same boat. They spend hours together enjoying each other's company. Spending time with Saotome makes the soul realize that there is more to life, and he starts enjoying it. The next day, he goes back to school for the first time after getting mugged, and all his classmates are shocked to see his face. They are even more shocked to see Saotome greeting Makoto warmly. Saotome even takes him shoe shopping to help him get a pair of shoes since he lost his older ones. After buying shoes, Saotome tells Makoto that he'll be going to a public high school named Tamagawa High School, since his parents can't afford to send him to a private school. So, he'll have to study hard to get good grades. At that moment, the soul that's inside Makoto decides that he also wants to go to Tamagawa High School. So, the two of them begin studying for their high school entrance exam. One day, upon his father's insistence, the soul agrees to go fishing. While his father fishes, Makoto takes the opportunity of the beautiful scenery and starts manifesting his artistic side by drawing it. Later, his father tells him that his mother has always been rejected by his grandmother. Although she took care of his grandmother sincerely, her efforts were never appreciated, which is why she started taking pills as she couldn't sleep at night. Those were the same pills that Makoto used to overdose. The soul feels bad since he'll leave Makoto's body in a few months, leaving Makoto dead for everyone. On parent-teacher meeting day, while the art class is empty, he finds Haruka, who expresses her feelings to Makoto that she feels terrible and disgusting. Her mind is totally messed up as she has been selling herself for materialistic things and she wants to die. The soul calms her down and assures her that mistakes are made by every human being, but once they set on a path of redemption, life can be back to normal. Moreover, he asks her not to think about dying, ever. Later at home, Makoto's father shows him an expensive high school brochure and is ready to admit him there. It turns out that Mitsuru decided to postpone his college entrance exams in order to allow his parents to save some money, so they can send Makoto to a private school. However, the soul refuses and tells Makoto's parents and brother that he has already chosen a public high school for himself. This infuriates Mitsuru, and he starts slating Makoto for rejecting his family's help. He further says that ever since Makoto attempted suicide, his father has been coming home for dinner despite his busy schedule, and his mother, who always got ready-made meals, has started cooking herself. Despite the family's efforts, Makoto only tormented them with his rude behavior. The soul in Makoto starts crying and tells his family that he just wanted to go to the same school as his only friend is going to apply to. His parents and brother are moved by his feelings and allow him to apply to Tamagawa High with his friend. With his deadline reaching its end, the soul tries to fix some loose ends in Makoto's life. So he meets Shouku at school and apologizes to her for scaring her off the other day. Shouku tells him that she always noticed him keenly, as she was also considered an outcast in the school just as he was. So, when she noticed a change in his behavior, she quickly evaluated that something must be off. But at that very moment, she realizes that Makoto has not changed and that he really and truly is Makoto. Hearing this, the soul finds the answer for Purapura and races to him to tell him that he has found out what his previous life's mistake was. He announces that he is none other than the soul of Makoto Kobayashi himself, and his sin in life was that he killed himself. All of a sudden, all of Makoto's memories from his past life start coming back to him to the time when he was bullied, saw his mother with someone else, and killed himself. Purapura tells Makoto that he has passed the test, and makes him realize that he is lucky to have so many people supporting him. Moreover, he tells him that he will keep on living, and with this second chance at life, he must live a colorful life. Makoto insists Purapura not to leave him alone as he cannot make it through without him, but Purapura erases all memories of himself from Makoto, so he does not think that he has any more chances. The movie ends with Makoto waking up after his memories are wiped. He leads a happy life with Saotome, and while enjoying his time, gets a message from Purapura saying, "Are you alive?" Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like and comment your thoughts down below. If you'd like to stick around, check out these other videos from the channel. And before you leave, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more anime in minutes.